Hello everyone. Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar, Integrating Dynamics CRM with Workflows, People and Systems. We have a very exciting webinar today. We have James Luxford with us, CTO of PNMsoft, and we're actually going to be speaking with one of our PNMsoft partners in the US. So this is really an excellent webinar for you to see the abilities of our new CRM solution, our CRM and BPM solution, PNMsoft SCE. So again, I'm Ellie Stutz, Head of Knowledge and Collaboration for PNMsoft, and with me today presenting that live demo and with a lot of information about what we can do for Dynamics CRM is James Luxford, our CTO. The agenda for today, first we're going to be talking about what's new as far as processes and workflows native functionality within Dynamics CRM 2013. That's the recent release. We're going to be looking at what gaps there are as far as process functionality between what's available in out-of-the-box CRM 2013 and what many customers require as far as complex process management. We're going to be talking with one of our partners, as I mentioned, Ryan Redmond of Customer Dynamics in the US. Then James will be presenting a demo of our new product, PNMsoft SCE, which is our great new CRM product, which enables intelligent workflow management within CRM. We'll be taking a quick look at a case study of one of our customers, looking at the benefits of the solution, and then taking your questions. So already now, if you have questions and throughout the webinar, you're welcome to enter your questions within the GoToWebinar questions widget, and we'll try to field them at the end of the webinar. Okay, so what's new in Dynamics CRM 2013 around business process management, around processes? I'm going to assume that most people listening who are familiar with Dynamics CRM know what existed in it before this version. So I'm not going to go over it in detail, and we actually had a webinar which touched on that about half a year ago. There's, of course, the native process functionality, the ability to create processes within Dynamics CRM, which are basic processes, which are usually linear, sometimes with conditions, but fairly straightforward and often reacting to changes within the CRM. And obviously, we use them, and they work excellently. Added in 2013 are business process flows, which are the ability to define stages for CRM entities, business rules, which enable you to define how form fields can change based on user input, and asynchronous workflow execution, which enables you to have workflows execute asynchronously, right away, as opposed to waiting for, after an action for a minute or two. It happens right away. So those are some of the major additions and improvements around processes in Dynamics CRM 2013. Just a quick look here at one of them, perhaps maybe the leading one, which is the business process flow, BPF, and that just enables you to map out the stages of any of the entities, whether it's a lead, a contact, or an account, or let's say an opportunity, until from the start until the finish, nurturing an opportunity from the beginning stage to the process to upside and then to completion. That's just an example, and it's a great functionality, and we use it here at PNMsoft, and we're very happy with it. We're using it with the opportunities, and what's important to note is this is not a dynamic process. It's not an automated process. It's a guided manual process where, for example, if you don't complete one of the conditions of the initial of let's say the first stage, you can't get to the next stage. But there's no dynamic nature here. There's no automated nature. It's a manual, straightforward, linear process. So in that case, that comes to the question of what's missing. Do you have here out of the box all of the business process management capabilities that you need for your business if you need to manage complex or advanced processes? So in many cases, the answer is not yet. Although hopefully you will have that capability by the end or the opportunity to have that capability by the end of this webinar, as we'll see. So what are some of the gaps? One of the gaps is visual modeling of workflows. So we don't have a visual workflow canvas where you can lay out all the activities and workflow steps in a very intuitive visual way. And we don't have the ability to create branching of logical branches or loops. Those are some of the gaps that we're looking at. And in a lot of complex business processes, you need to create such loops or branches, and it helps to be able to organize your workflows on an intuitive visual canvas as opposed to a linear list. Another gap is integration. So if you need to be integrating your CRM workflows with other systems, such as SharePoint, such as ERP, databases, other line of business systems, you don't have that as that capability for integration out of the box. So that's another gap that we're going to take a look at. How do we solve that gap? There's another gap around handling change. So if you need processes that are CRM related, which need to be dynamic in their nature, as in the people who, your end users, need to be able to decide on the fly based on conditions, real-time conditions, how to change the process flow. You don't have that capability yet, and you don't have the capability to, let's say, have processes change based on real-time analytics. So those are some examples of dynamic capabilities which you may need, and many businesses need today in order to stay competitive. So I'd actually like to bring on the line right now one of our partners, Ryan Redmond, the CEO of Customer Dynamics, one of our CRM partners in the U.S. So Ryan, welcome to the program here. Can you hear us, Ryan?
I can. Thank you, Ellie.
Okay, just make sure to speak up as loudly as you can. You're a little bit faint. Okay. Okay, so great to have you with us, Ryan. Can you just tell us a little bit about who you are and just a little bit about your company?
Sure. Like you said, my name is Ryan Redmond. I've been doing CRM systems and enterprise systems my whole career, 20 plus some odd years, and started Customer Dynamics about 8 years ago with the idea of, at the time, looking at the Microsoft CRM product and seeing how robust the architecture was and how you could kind of model it into what people have kind of termed in the industry XRM, where CRM is kind of the center and you can kind of pull a lot of things into it. And we've been pretty successful with that, using CRM as a model, but then there's the other systems, the ERP systems, the line of business apps, and where we've, I guess, been looking for a solution, and I guess we're looking at PNMsoft at the moment, is there's always a need to kind of move from system to system, data, approvals, notifications, something, and create processes that span systems.
You see that among your customers? You see that that those are capabilities that they require that they perhaps don't have?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these days there's not a single application that you can bring into a company and say, hey, this one application does everything. You have to kind of work with systems that are there and accept the fact that you're going to have to move stuff between systems.
Okay. Now, I don't want you to steal our thunder. We're going to be presenting our solution, PNMsoft SCE, in just a moment. But maybe you can give us a little bit of a taste or a promo here. How do you see our solution, PNMsoft SCE, as being able to solve those gaps for your customers?
Well, a typical thing, I mean, there's lots of different ideas. Every company has their own, unique need. But something like, kind of a customer approval or something like that where, you might have the lead opportunity, quoting happening in the CRM system, and that's all well and good, but then there's a point at which maybe they're ready to purchase and you need a credit approval or you need some kind of other interaction between a couple of different systems. You have to either program with .NET and some other very expensive tools, or you have to find a way to kind of dip into these other systems and do something like an approval chain or notifications. And like you had mentioned a couple of slides back, there's real limitations with the CRM embedded workflow because you can't branch and you can't, you can't loop and you can't do some of the things that really need to happen in the real world.
Okay, so you see a lot of opportunity there as far as kind of new capabilities that you're going to be able to offer to your customer base, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right. Well, it's great to have you on, and I want to thank you for coming on the program here and stick with us. But now we're actually going to go and take a look at PNMsoft SCE and exactly what it has to offer, and soon we'll get to James with the live demo. So thanks very much, Ryan, for being with us.
Thanks, Ellie.
Okay, so let's take a look at what we have to offer. Introducing PNMsoft SCE. What is SCE? SCE actually stands for Sequence CRM Edition, and that's because it's a special edition of our leading IBPMS product. IBPMS is Intelligent Business Management Suite, Sequence. And this is a product which leads the fields for intelligent business process management, and we're in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for IBPMS. So we have a lot of experience with how to manage business processes, and we have the technology and the experience to do it. So we've actually created a special edition of our product for Dynamics CRM, an edition of this great BPM suite which integrates with Dynamics CRM and enables the creation and management of workflows within Dynamics CRM using our unique hot change technology, which is a technology which enables our product to be able to change very rapidly and change to meet the changing business conditions and needs of your company. So this is just you'll see this soon within the demo, but it's workflow management at the highest level from within Dynamics CRM. What is it? How does it kind of look like from a bird's eye view as far as how does the system integrate? So Dynamics CRM you see is in the center. PNMsoft SCE is installed as a solution within Dynamics CRM, and that talks with Sequence's intelligent workflow design interface, where, and you'll see this as well, James will show you in a second, how your business and business users and more advanced developers can design complex processes within Sequence, which are then used within Dynamics CRM, and that enables process management, which connects your CRM with such systems as SharePoint, which exposes it to a much greater user base. It connects your CRM with your ERP and enables you to leverage the ERP data for CRM-related processes. It connects your systems. It's a business process management suite integrated with your CRM, which connects your systems, which exposes it to many more users within your organization than you would otherwise be able to provide it to. Your employees, your customer service reps, your CRM managers, other departments which were perhaps until now only using your ERP, and so on. And we'll see that all very soon. So I'm actually going to pass the mic over to James right now to give that live demo and to talk about, he'll start off with use scenarios. James, you're on.
Right. Okay, thanks, Ellie. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah, it's very good.
Good, excellent. Okay, so hello everyone. I'm James Luxford from PNMsoft. I'm just very quickly going to talk through some usage scenarios of when you have Dynamics CRM, when can Sequence SCE really add some real value to it. And then we're going to dip into the Sequence Kinetics in more details, our CRM edition, and have a look at it both from the end user experience and also from the administration behind the scenes. So just firstly, just very quickly, here are 4 usage scenarios. We've touched on these already today. Both Ryan and Ellie have touched on each of these, but these are sort of the 4 real big hot buttons that we see SCE delivering real value to a Dynamics CRM customer. The first one being solve. And Ryan touched on this. This is where you have complex logic in your business processes, where you want to branch, where you want to loop, perhaps where you want to have some complex business rules. Sequence SCE allows you to do all of that very easily, and I'll show you in the demonstration an example of that. Number 2 is reach, the ability to be able to reach to external user communities. This is users within your enterprise, but not Dynamics CRM users. So you may have operations, you may have finance, people that work in other systems but don't work in Dynamics CRM. With SCE, you can reach out to those users and bring them into your processes. Again, you'll see that in action. Number 3, very valuable capability here is the ability to be able to extend, to be able to reach out to users outside of your enterprise. So via your website, to be able to add forms to your website that users or customers, it could be members of the public, can start processes off and can then interact with those processes through self-service portals as they go through the journey of the process. And finally, number 4 is integrate, and this is the one that Ryan touched on. The ability to be able to pull information out of Dynamics CRM into other systems and vice versa, but also to present information to users as well. And again, we'll touch on that in the demo. Okay, thanks. So this next slide just shows the building blocks of SCE. In the center, at the center of the solution is Dynamics CRM. And again, I won't go too much into the details of Dynamics CRM. As Ellie mentioned, we'll sort of assume that you have a certain level of knowledge. But Dynamics CRM fundamentally consists of entities, your accounts, your contacts, your opportunities, your cases, your products. And they are all accessed by the users through the user interface. A very powerful user interface and particularly nice, particularly easy to use in 2013. Underpinning all of this is Dynamics CRM workflow and dialogues capabilities, the ability to, when an event happens, to be able to respond to that event and to do something. A nice little capability, but as Ryan mentioned, does have a number of limitations. And then finally, the management information and dashboards, very powerful within Dynamics CRM. So these 4 elements build up to be a very powerful product that can really deliver customer relationship management to your enterprise. But SCE takes it one step further. So when we're talking about entities, we provide a set of activities that steps in a workflow, steps in a process, that allows us to be able to interact with those entities, whether that's to create them, to update them, to delete them even. You'll see that in action. And for those of you that are familiar with the CRM Service API, it's that API that we use as the fundamental underpinnings of our CRM activities. So you can do just about anything you need to with our activities. That, as you'll see, they're very good for process designers who really understand how CRM works under the hood. Our SCE functions, these abstract that level of detail up a level. So I want to create an account. I don't need to worry about how it all happens behind the scenes. I'll have a simple function where I can pass in the name, address, telephone number into the function within the process. The function will do the rest for me, including all the error handling, retrying, and so on. So it really allows power users to be able to create rich business processes that interact with Dynamics CRM without having to be highly technical users. And then moving around, our SCE plugin, this allows users to still be able to use workflows, still be able to use dialogues, but when you want to then reach out, perhaps start a more complex business process, or perhaps within your sequence business process, be able to start a workflow within Dynamics CRM. That can be done using our plugin. We can also listen for events as well. And the example that we'll see is we'll create an activity, a task, where we need to qualify an opportunity. The sequence can then wait for that activity to be completed before the process carries on. And then finally, in terms of MI, it's very important that CRM users see all of the picture within their CRM dashboards. Sequence Kinetics has its own dashboarding capabilities, but we want CRM users to be able to have all that rich management information in the environment that they use day in, day out. So our CRM solution passes that management information into Dynamics CRM and allows those users to see exactly what's happening within their processes. Okay. Thanks, Eddie. So we're now going to have a little look at Sequence Kinetics and our CRM edition. So first of all, I'm going to start at the beginning, so to speak. Here we're looking at Sequence Kinetics. So our SCE edition, it is a Sequence Kinetics, everything that comes in our Sequence Kinetics, our flagship product, plus the integration with Dynamics CRM. And here we're seeing our SharePoint-based portal, we call it our flow time portal, where the end users can interact with our processes. They can see all of the messages that they've received from the processes. They can start processes, they can do delegation, they can look at management information. This is a whole webinar in itself. I'm not going to touch on this. What I'm going to do very quickly is just start a new process. And this page here allows me to be able to start a process. And now we are in the Sequence Kinetics forms. So this allows us to be able to give a very rich, very powerful end user experience. People can be working in CRM, but for those users that aren't working in CRM, this is the sort of interface that they can use. And I just very quickly want to just touch on a couple of highlights. So I could be a customer, I could be a service agent working within the enterprise. I can use the same forms or slightly different variations of the forms. But what's key here is, so say I'm a service agent, I have a customer on the phone that is requesting a service from us, perhaps a support call. I select the customer. Now here I've just got a few. These are the customers that I support as a service agent. Now these aren't customers held within Sequence. These are held within Dynamics CRM. So we're pulling out the list of customers from CRM and presenting it to the user. Also presenting the user with all the details they may need to know about that customer, including, well, who are the contacts at that customer. So this is a filtered list of the contacts held in CRM for this particular customer. I can then go ahead and submit the service request. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to focus on other areas for this webinar. I just wanted to show you down here. This is an area that we've touched on in several places. And that's the ability to be able to show information from other systems. So it could be the order history that could come from ERP, perhaps our invoice history that could come from our finance system, service request history which could come from CRM. We are aggregating all of this information together and presenting it to the end user in one place. So they don't have to reach into different systems and pull out all that information in order to make a decision, in order to action a task. So that's as far as I'm going to go through this particular scenario. Let's now have a look at a specific CRM scenario. So I mentioned earlier we have the ability to be able to extend and reach out to non-enterprise users. So here, in a moment, we'll pop up. This is an example of, it's a Whiteways, it's a dummy company. On their website, they have a link for customers or new customers to be able to place an order. And in bringing that up, their website is actually surfacing an SCE form within the website. So we don't have to build this as part of the website. It all comes as part of SCE. And I could log on as an existing contact if I've got my username and details. Or if I'm a new contact, a new customer, I can put in my details. These forms are fully configurable. You can have whatever fields you want. This is just a very simple logging on form. So let me just fill in Henry's details. Our user experience allows us to be able to do wizards. So here, Dorrington company, I've got 550 employees. I could go through, fill in lots of the details. I can put in the details, all the details that I want to when I'm submitting the order. I can go backwards and forwards. Now here is another excellent example of where SCE can really deliver some value. So as a customer, I want to add some products. This is my shopping cart. And I select which product I want. Now this list of products, again, not contained in SCE, this is coming from the product list within Dynamics CRM. So we can surface that information as drop-downs. So we want 2 of those. I'd like some installation. And I can go ahead and I can order as many of these as I want. But within my BPM system, I don't have to maintain lists of products, all those lists that I held elsewhere. I reach out into those lists and pull the information from there. And when the customer clicks finish, when Henry clicks finish, he now gets a response back telling him that yes, we've received his order. And we mentioned self-service earlier. He can come back in. He can come to this website. He can use this username and password to log back in and to be able to monitor and view the progress of his particular, in this case, order. It could be anything else. It could be a service request. It could be a contract renewal, anything where you're reaching out to your customers or potential new customers. So let's just have a very quick look at what has happened behind the scenes. A sequence process is now underway, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. I'm going to go to Dynamics CRM here, and this is 2010 that we're looking at. Very quick highlights. Again, you've hopefully seen it all before. But here we can see how we can surface our management information from our processes into Dynamics CRM, and therefore have all the powerful capabilities of being able to filter, slice and dice the information in the environment that, as a CRM user, I'm familiar with. If I come down here to my accounts, we'll see in accounts, in here we've now got Dorrington's incorporated. This has been automatically created by SCE for me. I haven't had to do that. We haven't done it as a CRM process. It's done as part of an SCE process. And if I have a look in contacts, we'll see there's Henry Dorrington up here as well. He's been added as a contact. So we've added multiple entities. There are other entities that have been created, and we'll see some of those later. Now if I go in and have a look at Dorrington's, we'll see all the details, phone number, Henry Dorrington is the main contact. As I come down, we've made a note, this was created by Sequence Kinetics. The number of employees that I put in, 550, this is actually used for credit scoring the customer as well. And we can update as many fields as relevant, including custom fields, as part of the SCE integration. Now, down here you'll see a new entity, our sequence workflow. This is a custom entity that we've created as part of SCE. And what this allows me to do is to be able to see, for each process, I can then monitor how it's progressing. So this is where the management information is coming in from sequence and can be displayed on our dashboards. And I can monitor everything about this particular process, including what the process is. But I can also see, okay, so what accounts have been created, what contacts have been created, what opportunities have been created. We're creating lots of opportunities, and I think, in fact, we should have an activity up here as well. So we've actually created 4 entities as part of this solution. We also have the ability to be able to monitor the progress of this particular customer onboarding using the graphical view. Ellie showed this as part of one of his slides. And we can see all the checked boxes being completed. We can see we're currently sitting on this step here. Because what we've done, we've created an activity, and Sequence is now waiting for that activity to be completed before it carries on. And if I go into my activities, I'll be able to see this is the activity that the process is waiting on for me. as a CRM user, it's all familiar user experience. I get activities appear, I come in here, I action those activities, mark them as complete. For me, I don't need to be too concerned that there's a business process management suite driving these powerful business processes behind the scenes. It all just happens as everything else happens in CRM for me as a CRM user. So how do we make all of this happen? Let's have a look in Sequence Kinetics in our App Studio. So here we are in our App Studio, and here is our customer onboarding process that we've just been looking at. It's a graphical design environment. Now, unlike CRM, you can model your processes. In a graphical environment that is a familiar environment, just as if you draw it up on a whiteboard, that perhaps you may have bought from Whiteboards Incorporated. So here's the process that we've been through. Let me step you through the highlights. So here is the order form where we submitted it on the website. The same step in the process can be used internally as well, can be used on mobiles. So we have a multi-channel capability where we can tailor the user experience. If I'm on the website, I'll see one view. If I'm internal to the organization, I'll see another. If I'm on our mobile portal, I can see a third. It then steps through the process, and the CRM swim lane up here is updating CRM, keeping CRM informed of what's going on with this process. And here we can see we've got a decision point where, is it a new account? If it is, we've created the account, we've created Henry, and we've created the Dorrington's account. We updated the account name, and we've also created an opportunity, and we've created close opportunity task. And the step up here is then waiting for that to be completed. These are examples of our CRM functions. So it's just one step that I need to add here. I don't need to worry about error handling. I don't need to worry about, well, when I create an account, do I need to link a primary contact to it as well? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? All of that best practice is encapsulated in a function which, as a process designer, I don't need to worry about. There's lots more that we can have in here that I can show you. We haven't got too much time to spend on this, but here's an example of integrating to external systems. In this case, we're actually reaching out via web services to an external system to do a credit check. The result comes back, and here is an example of solving complex business processes. Depending on the credit result that comes back, we want to do one of three actions. If it's below 500, we're going to come down here and we're going to reject the customer. If it's over 700, we're going to automatically approve the customer and carry on. If it's midway, our CFO wants to give his approval. And here's where we can extend out to other non-CRM users within an enterprise and involve them in the process. So the CFO will receive a sequence email telling them what's happened, and within the email they'll be able to click on a button to say, yes, I approve, or no, I reject. They can even, in this particular case, they can specify, I'm happy to take them on as a customer, but as a high-risk customer, so they'll have a lower credit limit. Or no, I'm happy to have them as a standard customer with our standard credit limit. You can encapsulate some very sophisticated business functionality combined with reaching out to other users. And the process goes on, in fact, and up here in our ERP system, we create an account. In our bespoke warranty system, we create an account. But then we pass those account numbers back into CRM. So the CRM agent has all of the details about this particular customer in one place. So we can create objects in other systems, but also take information out of those systems and pass them back into CRM. So just very quickly now, I just want to look at one of those functions. We're going to look at the create account function. The beauty of this, as I mentioned, is it's easy for the process designer to call this function, just pass in parameters. The parameters are passed in, referred to in the same way as they are in the user interface, so the same terminology. So it's a familiar interface for the process designer. But once we get in here, there's actually quite a lot happening in here. This step is one of our activities, those CRM activities that I mentioned. And as I said, if you're familiar with the CRM service interface, you'll recognize these as the methods from that service. But we're also adding the primary contact. So we're updating this account with the details of the primary contact. But we're also, of course, handling any errors. If CRM has gone down, or we've lost network connectivity, or Dynamics CRM Online is unavailable to us because we've lost internet connection, our error handling will take care of that and can decide, well, do we need to retry it? Do we want to abort it? Do we want to wait? What do we want to do? All that's completely configurable, but the process designer doesn't need to worry about that. That's all set up, one time only at setup, and then everything is taken care of. The last part I want to show you is let's have a look at one of these activities in action. How does it work? So I'm going to open one up. Sequence, Kinetics, and SCE, it's all about using Wizard to configure. You can write code, but in the vast majority of cases, you don't need to. So when I am connecting to CRM, the first thing I need to do is to select my connection. I only need to create this once, and as we can see here, here's one that I've created already. This is held at the environment level, which means when I'm on the development environment, I can point to my development CRM, on test to my test CRM, and on production to my production CRM. I don't need to change anything in my process as I move them, as I promote them between environments. Sequence takes all of that for me, making it much easier through our hot change capabilities to be able to deploy, test new versions of our processes. And once I've connected to my CRM, it might just take a couple of seconds. Here, and this is a view for people that really understand the workings of CRM. So this, this wouldn't need to be used by power users building sequence processes. This would be used, as I said, perhaps by IT to set up the system at the start of the project. But here, these are all of the fields that can be passed into the account. I've selected the account is of, sorry, the entity is of type account, and these are all the input parameters for that. And here is all of the fields in my process, and in my variables, these are my inputs. So the process designer has just had to map them, these fields in here. Again, all in nice, familiar, easy to use vocabulary. But for instance, so city has actually been mapped into address 1_city. Let's have a look at some others. The description's fairly obvious. Very easy to be able to model, to map fields from our parent process into here. And that's all I need to do in order to be able to create that account. Then later on, when I want to perhaps update that account, as is happening here, all I need to do is to tell Sequence, well, which account am I interested in? And the return value from when I created the account, if I extend this, we can see there are all of my inputs, lots of inputs, but my output, my return value, is the GUID for my account. That's all that I need in order to be able to then update this with whichever fields I'm interested in. If we scroll down, it's around here somewhere, it's in here somewhere. I can't find it, I won't dwell too much on that. So very easy to be able to create entities, to be able to update entities. We can even search for entities, and we can execute requests as well. Very powerful interface where you can do just about everything within CRM.
James, what would be an example of executing a request? What kind of requests can you execute within CRM?
Okay, so for that could be permissions, for instance. So you want to set specific permissions or a specific owner, well, mainly specific permissions for, say, a particular account. you can use the execute request for that. The update entity is used for actually updating the state, the fields within the entity. So if you want to do any of the metadata, so permissions, etc., you use the execute request.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So good timing there, Ellie. That's me pretty much done. There's lots more that we can say about SCE. It's a very rich edition of Sequence Kinetics. But I've run over time, so apologies for that, Ellie.
No, it was excellent, James. Thank you very much. I guess one question I have is, you mentioned earlier that in the initial setup, some of the functionality is maybe for developers who are very familiar with the internals of CRM, and then afterwards, the system SCE can be used by more power users or business users. What are the types of things that business users or power users can do using SCE? How do you see them using it?
To be honest, they can do just about anything. So the entire customer onboarding process that I showed, let me bring it up again. And in fact, this was built by a power user. Because we're using our functions here, so when I create an account, if you remember what all that was going on within that function, I don't need to worry about all that. All I need to do is just map into, I select which function I'm interested in, and I just map into, this is all of the fields that's available to me when I create an account, and I just map my fields from my processes, it's just standard sequence functionality, into a parent. So very easy. Obviously, it may take a little while just to get all of these set up, but a very easy action to do. That's all you need to do. So just about everything. So creating accounts, creating opportunities, creating tasks, updating all of those entities as well can all be done by the power user. That's the beauty of the functions. It abstracts the sophistication of the integration sort of upper level, so that the power user doesn't need to worry about how it's happening. They just need to focus on how they want their process to work.
Okay, very good. All right, I want to encourage everyone who's listening who has any questions to please ask them now, because you just have a few minutes left and we'll be fielding them in a moment. In the meantime, I'm going to just move the screen over to myself. One moment. Okay, here we are. Okay, so just a very short case study here. We're working with Southwest Water. Southwest Water is a water utilities provider in the UK. They decided to move over to Dynamics CRM to manage their customer relations. And they were looking for better work allocation to their agents, to their customer service agents, to allocate tasks to them in a more optimal and efficient manner. And they lacked a system to be able to do that that could integrate with Dynamics CRM. They needed something that would allocate customer service requests to those agents according to the agent's skill set and their time availability. So they decided to go with PNMsoft, and with our solution, that enabled them to create a BPM process which listened to new work in the CRM queues, and then based on the agent's skill level and availability of the agents on that particular day and on the due date of the task, Sequence allocates those work activities to individual agent queues. And that all happens within CRM. And even if there's a failure on the agent's part to complete the activity on time, Dynamics CRM then can send alerts and escalations. So that's the whole workflow element there is managed using Sequence, and a very successful example of one of our implementations. Benefits being more efficient allocation of work, better customer service, leveraging and extending Dynamics CRM technology, ease of use for the end users, and ease of development and modification for administrators and developers. And I think that's really what we're doing here with PNMsoft SCE. We're taking a great product, Dynamics CRM, we're making it even better, we're extending it, we're making it even more relevant for more users, we're giving it the ability to manage complex workflows. And these are workflows which almost all organizations have and they need to have implemented. So if they're using CRM, they're happy with it, but they want to manage those workflows, then SCE could be the right solution for them. So just again, the benefits, ability to manage complex workflows, improving customer service, the reach, you're connecting more people and systems and devices to CRM, whether it's more users within your organization or whether it's surfacing web forms to your customers and connecting them to your CRM and having better integration into the CRM like that, as we saw in James's demo. This is going to generate more sales, better customer satisfaction, less development time because you have less coding. You're not going to have, giant .NET coding projects to get the integration and the workflows running. You have all, your developers have this out-of-the-box powerful functionality to create these workflows, to implement this integration within clicks, as opposed to weeks of coding and then, of course, nightmares of maintaining and changing that code into the future. And you have your Sequence's hot change technology, that's the technology which powers all of Sequence, enabling you to quickly change. Whenever you need to quickly change a workflow, it's within clicks. Whenever it's creating the ability to have the workflow available on multiple devices, it's within clicks on mobile. The integration also, out-of-the-box wizards, the changes fast and can be done as processes are already running in production. So that's our hot change. Okay, let's just take a look and see if, I know I had some questions earlier. Let's see if any of you have asked any. Okay, we do have a couple questions here. I'm just reading one here. Okay, so one question here from Dave is, in the workflow, we had a step for a CFO to approve an order if a credit score was within a certain range. How would that CFO be notified, and how would he or she provide feedback? James, do you want to field that one?
Yep, certainly. So that is where we're then reaching out and using Sequence Kinetics' capabilities. And we have the ability to be able to send out emails to recipients of tasks, and we can allow those users to then respond either by clicking on a link, and that will then take them into a form that they can fill in, or within the form they can have one-click buttons where they can select the option. So if it's, in this case, if it's an approval, they can click approved. They can click approved as a standard credit limit, approved with a reduced credit limit, or reject. So that's all done within the email. Or as I say, it's a more complex task that needs to be done. They can click on a link in the email that will take them straight into the form that they then complete in order to action the task.
Okay, if there are no further questions, we'll continue. I'll just wait 10-15 seconds. If you have any more questions, please enter them within the widget very shortly, because we are going to move on towards the end of the webinar. Okay. Okay, well, let's move on then. If you do have more questions and you'd like to ask them, you're welcome to contact us, myself at les@pnmsoft.com or James L. at pnmsoft.com, and we'll be very happy to field your questions. So just a little bit about our company. We provide intelligent BPM solutions for businesses worldwide, and we're the only pure play 100% .NET Microsoft-based vendor on Gartner's Intelligent Business Process Management Suite Magic Quadrant. Our main products is PNMsoft Sequence. That's our Intelligent BPM suite, and of course today's focus, PNMsoft SCE, our special edition of PNMsoft Sequence, enabling creation and management of intelligent workflows for Dynamics CRM. We've got a great CRM track record with some of the companies you can see on the screen, and we continue to see a very high level of interest in PNMsoft SCE into the future with both customers and partners. And you're welcome to contact us. As I said, email is on the screen, to visit our website, PNMsoft.com, and visit our contact page if you'd like to contact us directly. And you are also welcome to see a demo of PNMsoft SCE for your company. If you go to our website, under Technology, select BPM for Dynamics CRM, and just fill out the form, and we'll be happy to set up a demo which is customized for your company. So please feel free to visit our website and fill out that form. And I think that is it for today. So I thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you very much, James. It was a pleasure to have Ryan on with us as well from Customer Dynamics. And we look forward to seeing you at more webinars. Stay tuned on our website and in our newsletters. This webinar, the recording, will be available on our website under Resources Webinars, under the Resources Webinars page. So you can catch that if you missed some of it. Thank you very much, everyone, for being with us today. Thanks, James.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.